Down deep into the realms of Subternia, there lives evil, death, demonic doom. Those who have been damned. And the master over the fear of Subternia is none other than Scareglow himself. This Scareglow is who we'll be reviewing today.
Super Dave here with another exciting Masters of the Universe review, and this is a first. We have our very first Masters of the Universe Chronicles action figure review. That's right, and this one even says Inaugural Edition. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about this guy. Really don't understand. At one point, it looked like it was going to be a Collector Con, Walmart 2026 Collector Con edition, and then that seems to have been replaced with Vintage Collection Beastman. We're not really sure where this guy came from. There was a story of someone having a defective Scareglow, wrote Mattel, and they were sent this, being that the other weren't in print anymore, which doesn't really make any sense when I've seen tons of them at Ollie's in the past. But I digress. Regardless, somebody got a hold of one of these early, and now they're showing up on eBay. And Mattel, why didn't you make this a Club Grayskull for us to Masterverse scale figure collectors? A exclusive, we would have already eaten this up. I mean, this would have been perfect for them. I mean, all you do is release Origins exclusives on Club Grayskull. I'm beginning to regret that I joined Club Grayskull because I'm not into Origins. I've got a few of them. I do like the retail version of the 2000X He-Man cartoon merchandise. I'm loving that, but we're not really into the Origins fully and that deep. Just select things. I have not gotten, I don't think, any of the Club Grayskull exclusive Origins because I want into them, except for one. I did get the Great Black Wizard. I forgot about that. But this dude is epic. You've already been seeing some pictures on Instagram, reviews of this guy showing up, people beginning to show him off, and we're going to be looking at all of it. We're going to see how he scales. We're going to be looking at the new Chronicles Articulation. There is some of the showing off stuff that this dude can do already, just looking epic. And there is a little write-up of this Scareglow. If you want to pause and read that, you certainly can. But just take a look at this awesome action figure. He looks epic. And if this is any indication of what we're going to be getting from the Chronicles line, then I'm all in. I'm excited. We even see Adam and Cringer back there. Just look at how beautiful that artwork on the side of the box is. Looks very much like what we saw in the Revolution cartoon at the beginning of the introduction, the very beginning rather, of that series on Netflix. Talks about deluxe articulation. As under here, kind of reminiscing back to the classic storyline, the evil ghost of Skeletor. So let's go ahead and break open this Masters of the Universe Chronicles figure and check him out over here in Subternia right now. And first, let's come over to Subternia and take a look at our Scareglow's accessories. And first of all, Scareglow comes with basically 4 accessories. He comes with a set of weapon holding hands, which he has one on his left arm and then one here that is not equipped yet. And then as you see, he has one for his right arm. He has a open palm kind of hand, and then also equipped on his right arm now is a balled up fisted hand. So that is really nice. He also comes with this flame effect, which as you can see glows in the dark. I have a black light shining down on us here so you can see it really well, kind of glowing here, and that's really neat. So that's cool. And then he comes with his Reaper weapon, this staff type blade, and it is a metallic type silver. There's not really any details as far as any paint apps on it, only what you can see there, almost like some holographic writing of some sort on the blade, maybe, or no, maybe that's just a covering on the back end of the blade. You can see little chips in the blade, and it looks like it has like a dragon's head at the top of the staff going into the back of the blade, even with the tail of the dragon kind of wrapping around the bottom part of the thicker part of the handle that goes up to the blade. And it narrows, and then there's like a little wrap there for his hand to go around, and it's pretty long. It goes all the way down to basically like a little notch at the bottom there. So just looking really cool. And then here is our Scareglow's feet. You see there's definitely like a bone type shape running through the entire body of this figure with a black background, which is really smart. So it makes him basically look like a skeleton in this form, and I like that. That's really nice touch. And so that's basically all of his accessories. We could count the cape and that flame effect piece, because that is removable, as you saw on the back of the box. And so that is very interesting as well here. So cool. So there is your Scareglow all the way around there. Looking cool. Looking nice. Go ahead and turn him around so you can see the back here. That it has like some frayed edges on that cape, which is kind of neat. And then we can go ahead and lift this up so you can see it has like your typical Masters of the Universe furry loincloth. Has definitely some different looking joints going on in the back of those knees. Looks more premium in my opinion. There's no skeletal work going on in the back. Almost looks like that there's like muscle stretched over, but it's not painted back here, and maybe some bones, but they're not painted on his back or on the back of his arm, but they are on the front. You see those bone pieces that go into that double jointed elbow. And like I said, you can remove all of this back here. And there's the pauldrons, have kind of like a skeletal bone structure with the eyes and the bridge of the nose there on both pauldrons, with some detail there. Kind of a metallic belt with some rivets. And then that goes on into, can't quite make out what that is. It almost looks like Castle Grayskull on his belt with some wings. Yeah, looks kind of like Castle Grayskull shape on that belt. It's a skull of some sort. Yeah, that's Castle Grayskull with wings. Of course, that makes sense, because if you remember in the classics, he did possess a key to a secret entrance to Castle Grayskull, the side, and then kind of like a loincloth that drapes down in front off that belt with some chains, which looks like some dog tags, but I think they're just some random chains there with some little pieces hanging off of them. But yeah, then there's some chain, which is actually plastic, that hooks around the front to make that cape stay on, as it's supposed to illustrate. See the details in those teeth, and then little tiny little beady glow in the dark speck in the black sockets of the eye. Looking really good here, the details. There's gauntlets. Then the shins, you have some shin wraps, not really boots, shin wraps, and then see the chain that goes around that one all the way around. And then no chain on this one, but still the shin wrap. Less detail, paint detail on those. Could have painted those little rivets silver there. There's all the detail on this guy. There's no wire in the cape. So that's just a loose flowing cape. It does feel a little thicker, a little bit more premium than maybe what we got like with Skeletor, but it looks like it's pretty much the same material. May just be, I don't know, maybe a little different, maybe a little thicker, I'm not sure. But it's not premium, but it's maybe a little bit more premium than what we got with Masterverse. I'll just put it that way. Like I said, you can really tell what glows in the dark. It's basically that flaming green piece that surrounds his head when you get him closer and closer to the black light. Then I put him further away from it, and it still glows pretty good. So that's really nice. Looking cool. All right, now let's look at his articulation. All right, let's bring our Scareglow on in here, and I removed his piece there. As you see, I attached it on top of that ball effect thing that came with our God Skeletor, Scaly God from Revelation Netflix series, and I put it on top of there, and it adds even more of a flame effect there in my little cauldron thing with the black light shining on it. So both of them glow, but that one glows even more because it's actually a more translucent plastic than, and you can see where it kind of shapes and clips on to the cape area device. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool that it could go on top of there like that. You know, has some extra dimension to it there. But anyway, moving back on over here, let's go ahead and take a look at our Scareglow's articulation. And he's going to be able to look up a pretty good amount. And I think I may go ahead and remove this upper part here in a second. But I will go ahead and show you that he will be able to look up pretty good even without removing that. He's able to go down pretty good. There's just such a nice fluid. There's such a premium feel to this. And I'll show you why. We'll go ahead and pop this head off and remove this device. I'm going to show you all of that. And like I said, in accessories, this is a removable piece that comes all together. The cape and everything. So really well done, I think, with the tattered ends. And as I said, that clip of that flame effect, that green flame effect, just clips around this collar on this cape device. And we really didn't see this, but I'll show you. Looks like a little bit of a skull look there as well, similar to what we see on the pauldrons. All right, so I'm going to move that over there, and that way you'll be able to see the first new articulation that we have in Chronicles that we didn't have in Masterverse, and that is the neck is also on a ball joint. So the neck is also able to move side to side, up and down, and all the way around like the hula hoop, just like the head. So you've got the head on a ball joint, nice ball joint, and the neck on a ball joint. So there's our first more premium, better articulation, but yet it doesn't break up the mold. And just so you know, we're getting a good idea not only from this inaugural edition Scareglow from Chronicles, but we're also getting a good idea of how and what to expect the He-Man and the movie figures to articulate like, because they have the same articulation as this guy. So keep that in mind. And I know that for sure because I watched Pixel Dan's backstage, backroom review of the He-Man, the movie He-Man Chronicles edition at the Comic-Con that he went to. Forget which one it was called. But anyway, so let's go ahead and look at this again. He's able to look all the way down. He's able to look all the way up like that. Wow, that's so nice. Look at the details on that skull too. Yeah, everything feels and looks more premium than Masterverse. And then check out this pivot for expressions. I love this. I love it. All right, moving on to the arms. Another addition, another new articulation is butterfly joints, and it is true butterfly joints. Now, the range is not super, but it's not just a fill-in piece like we get with our McFarlane stuff. No, this is actually a true butterfly joint that goes, decent amount of range. You can see it there. Then you can see it going back into the body there and showing there. And then if you go forward, it goes back into the body. So you are going to be able to get, a little bit further in with that because of the butterfly joint, as you can see. Now, this does go full 360 like so. And look, you even get a little bit of up and down in that butterfly joint too. So I want to notice that. You also get bicep swivel, which really, to me, I think this bicep is looking better than the Masterverse bicep. Here's our Masterverse Scareglow, the special edition that we got from Mattel Creation. You see it has almost like a cutoff right here, like a straight cutoff right there. It goes all the way down. Whereas with this one, it's a little bit more rounded and makes a little bit more of a dip into the bicep like you would see in real anatomy. There's not this like straight line, and you'd have to almost cut through that roundness right there to make it look like the Masterverse. So yes, they listened to the fans and they did a better job with the bicep, but still maintaining the double joint. And see, you can see the bone up here on his shoulder. You can see the bone, and it's not just painted on, it's painted, but it's also raised into the mold going down. And I took this hand off because I want to show you the third new articulation that we get with Chronicles over Masterverse, and that is, instead of having to worry about horizontal or vertical hinges, you're going to be able to do it on all your figures in Chronicles because they have gone to a more premium style ball joint hinge, which will be able to go vertical, or if you turn it, horizontal. So I'm going to go ahead and pop on the right hand, that is the gripping hand, the weapon holding hand, which is so nice. Look at the fingernails and the way the bone is again raised up. It's not just painted on, but it's raised up on these hands, and you see the hole. So we can go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and make this a vertical hinge like so, and then you just pop that. It's going to be hard. These are nice strong pegs, unlike what we get for like SH Figure Arts or Figma or any of the others. It's very strong pegs, but I just can't. Oh, it's tight. All right, it popped in then, I do believe. Yes. All right, get it focused on in here, and you can see the vertical hinge with his blade, his Reaper type blade there. So let's go ahead also, we'll swing over here and show you. And I went ahead and equipped the open palm hand. So see, he can kind of hold that up as well, like a casting spell type hand, or go down with it. So I've got that one vertically hinged as well. And yes, you can get a full T-pose looking nice there. But also, check this out. Double jointed elbows, which get really good range, better than 90 degrees, and it looks really clean. I like the way that elbow looks. They think they improved all of this. That is really good. So you could even scratch his head. Looking really good. I mean, the feel of how these joints move are a lot more premium and smooth than what we had with Masterverse. And I'm not just saying that because I'm excited. I really feel like that all of these feel so much, it's not necessarily tighter and it's not looser, it's just real smooth. All right, let's go ahead and look at the diaphragm. It will be able to move side to side like so. See how much it's going to crunch from that angle. Not much in the front on crunching from the diaphragm. See how much it'll bend back. Try not to move the waist. He'll be able to bend back just a little bit. So let me show you from the side. Just a little bit, just slightly. So there's not a huge amount there. Let's see, side to side. It's going to go side to side a little bit. Not a huge range, but it's present. But now let's go to the fourth. I believe this is the fourth. This is a 1, 2, 3. Yes, the fourth new articulation for Chronicles, and that is the waist is on a ball joint. It is on a ball joint, not just a swivel. You're not only able to swivel side to side like we were able with Masterverse, but you also have a bend. You can see it's not as much as I thought it might be, but when you join the two together, you are able to crunch forward a little bit more, bend forward a little bit more, and bend back a little bit more. So this character does not bend a tremendous amount, but in forward or backwards, but it is present. So let's go ahead and show the full range, joining this part. Trying to make sure I'm not missing something on that. Yep. Okay. You can see the hula hoop going on there all the way around. I mean, you can just see from that just how much more articulation posing potential there is from this figure. Isn't that cool? That's a red light shining on him there, and there's the black light shining on him there. But anyway, so cool. All right, let's go on to these legs. There is a drop down method. It will drop down. There is the ability to go full splits. There is a rotation, but instead of it being broken here like we had in Masterverse, which always annoyed me, you have it built in to the actual joint up in there, which is really well done. Thank you very much. There again, that's another premium. That would be number 6, right? Or number 5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, number 5. That's the 5th improvement in articulation with this guy. He's going to be able to kick up a whole bunch. Look at that. With no problem. I mean, effortlessly. And if you go to the side a little bit, he'll even kick up a little bit more. And that's what I mean by that is, you know, rotating that thigh a little bit. You know, which of course, that's not even with him doing the splits. He'll be able to go back, get a little stride back too. All right, now let's look at his knee articulation. And it's very smooth, not real tight, but not real loose. Looks pretty good. Pretty good knee articulation. See how far back it goes. Pretty much touches almost the back of his loincloth there, the back of his lower back. He does have boot rotation. Again, he has almost like a ball joint, so that's good. Goes up pretty good amount, and also has nice rockers with a peg hole. Now that wouldn't be an added articulation as far as these knees, but I'm just going to say, just like with the elbows, they're upgraded. They're definitely upgraded knees because they're so smooth, tight and smooth, really nice. So you can press them up in there like that, or bring them out like that and make him even a little bit taller. Looking cool. And look there again, even with these feet, like with the hands, you get the actually within the mold, the bones raised up. It's not just paint over a foot. The bone mold is raised up in that plastic, so it looks really neat. You can see the claws there that are painted, so that's really cool, really nice. So yeah, the articulation for this guy is on point. He looks really good, and he moves really good and smooth. So this is giving us a big indicator of what we're in for with our Chronicles. All right, now let's do some Comparisons. And here we are on Subeternia looking at all three of our more present day Scareglows. Two Masterverse. One is our special edition Scareglow, which came as a Mattel Creations exclusive off the website in the special deluxe box with the deluxe cape with the bendy wire. You can see with the glowing head, glowing at least through the black light, the skeletal painting, even his Reaper weapon, the blade is glowing here, and you can see all the details here of our Masterverse, our first Masterverse, I would say deluxe Masterverse Scareglow. And then here is our, of course, Chronicles Scareglow next to our standard Masterverse Scareglow. Now, just to show you, this Scareglow is the same height as this Scareglow. It's just that, and you can't tell it here, but there is a little bit of a slope down here, just a slight bit. So that is going to make him look a little shorter. But to get the true scale, look at these two. They're even. They're standing side by side, even here. And in my opinion, and I do have, full disclosure, I do have the drop down method engaged. And I'll show you what it looks like without the drop down method engaged, with it pushed back up. This hip bone pushed back up a little bit when I add his fire effect, the green fire effect on there here in just a second. But there you see them side to side. And I love how this one looks more, they were going for that here by just painting it on the arms and the chest and the legs. But here you actually have it molded into the mold with not as shiny of a plastic matte background, with those bones actually literally molded into the plastic mold, showing the bones throughout the body, which makes this Scareglow look more like a skeleton. And I love that. This, looks a lot better than Origins, but there's still a little bit of a toy sense to these here, whereas this looks more premium from the very get-go. Just looking at it, just looking at them in comparison here, you can tell that. Turn up the light just a little bit here. You can just see. You can see that. Cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and show you also these next to each other, back to back. But before I do, I am going to push back in his hip bones. The drop down method, I'm going to push that back up in there, and I'm going to add that flame effect so you can kind of see what that looks like next to each other. But just look at how much more detail and how much larger the head is here than the standard Scareglow head on either one of these. See how that one's glowing there in the black light. This one is not glowing in the black light. Alright, now we see him with the hips pushed back in all the way, no drop down method engaged, and we have the flame effect there, and you can see that he still looks like he is in line with these. Now, one of the things I was going to mention to you, if you have posed around or played around with Masterverse enough, you know that unless there's a vertical hinge, a lot of times when you put a staff, like Skeletor is notorious for it, you can't ever get that staff to be up straight up and down unless you fudge it. Like I put tacky in the palm of the hand and kind of leaned it forward. I've like put it in between Skeletor's toes with the beast feet kind of toes. I don't know. You can see right here that staff is going forward because that is not a vertical hinge. It's a horizontal hinge. It's a horizontal hinge. It will not go vertical. So the best you can do is either bend the elbow a little bit more to try to get that up and down, but a lot of times it made it difficult if you wanted him to stand up with the staff straight up and down. With this new design of Articulation with Chronicles, you're not going to have that issue, again, because of the ball joint on the wrist. So I actually have it hinged vertically up just enough so that this staff is straight up and down, vertical with the body, side by side with the body. And that's just one example of the many things that you'll be able to do with this new body design from Chronicles that we didn't get with Masterverse. So that's bravo, really good idea, really good deal. And here's our standard Masterverse Scareglow next to our Chronicles Scareglow. You can see that it's not a big difference in height, not at all. And that's without the drop down hips engaged. So you can see what that looks like there. The heads look like they are pretty much the same exact height. Let's go ahead and measure them in and just check it once and for all. All right, so our standard Scareglow, put it right up against his back, comes 6 3/4 there. And then our new Chronicles Scareglow comes in 6 3/8. Yep. So yeah, just a hair taller, our standard Scareglow compared to our Chronicles Scareglow. Definitely. Just a hair. And like I said, all you have to do, if you want him taller, which that you can do this with any of them, but this really works good. For some reason, I feel like that it works even better with him because the loincloth covers it. But if you raise him up by doing the drop down method, that makes him 6 3/4 also. Same exact height as this Scareglow. Matter of fact, maybe just a tad taller. Yep. Maybe just a tad taller. So, very interesting. Cool. But that's the truth. That's the deal. I mean, if you've ever done photography with Masterverse, you've probably used the drop down method and pull down method and pull up method, whatever, to fudge a little bit in photos anyway, to add height or to reduce height, like I have. So again, that is a trick. But yeah, can't emphasize it enough. Premium action figure. And let me mention another thing. Sometimes it's hard to get the feet on Masterverse because it's just a hinge ratchet. Sometimes it's almost like it needs to be on the tick of the ratchet to get the feet flat. With the ball joint type ankles here, you don't have that issue. It's smooth all the way through, so you can put them perfect where you need without that ratchet that sometimes gets in the way. Some of you are going to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, there we go. And that answers the question. Is Chronicles a little bit shorter? Yeah, they are a little bit. Now, the movie figures have been reported to be actually the same height as like your classics. So yeah, they are shorter, but it looks like the non-movie Chronicles are going to be right in line with, from what this is showing us, with our Masterverse. So that's what that means. That's the only thing we can conclude based on this figure that we get in the inaugural release here of Scareglow, the first Chronicles Scareglow, first Chronicles figure. All right, let's look at some more comparisons. All right, so here is our Chronicles Scareglow next to our classic Scareglow, and a big difference here. Here it looks like you have mainly a dark body with some black painted on this Scareglow. And the head is a little bit bigger than this one. This is almost a little bit more cartoonish looking to me than what we have with our Chronicles. And I'll bring it in a little closer here so you can see it. Yeah, kind of a bigger head here. And he is glowing in the black light. It's just a little bit less conspicuous. And I'll show you here when I bring it over here closer to the black light. He just really glows bright. He really glows good. But for whatever reason, doesn't look like they made this one to glow in the... Yeah, see, you can put this one all the way up here to the black light, and the head's glowing a little bit. Yeah, the head's glowing a little bit, and the beady eyes on the inside, but the bone that's painted on, not painted on, but you know what I mean, molded in, does not glow. That's just white bone color. But anyway, what I was going to show you is all of these seem to have really tall collars, and even with the Masterverse, these collars aren't as tall as what we see on the other ones that we've looked at. But I believe that's because they wanted to add the flame effects. Let me add that again. And you can add that back on very easily without removing the head, the flame effect. So I believe that's why the collar is not as tall on this one. It's because you get this almost flaming collar all the way around, almost a flaming hood. It's really cool. I really like that touch. I like him with it on there better than I like it with it off of him, especially with that black light in the background, because it does help it glow, and it looks really, really nice. It looks really lit up really well here. So there's our classics Scareglow, one that came with the key. You remember that key, the little part that was attached to that key had like a engraving on the top of Castle Grayskull, and I think that's why his belt right here, this piece right here, has like a Castle Grayskull look to it. So that's neat, as we said. All right, now let's do some other comparisons with some other Masterverse figures, because that's pretty much, that's what you're going to get as far as what you see there in Classics. And they do look like they're about the same height. And again, that's without the drop down method engaged on this Chronicles figure. Alright, here's our Scareglow next to our Origins 2000X Zodak. And, you know, of course we know Origins are a little bit shorter, but as we reviewed this Zodak, and you check out my review on him, he was a little taller than some of the other Origins, but you know, he still looks good even with these. And this is actually a Masterverse Revelation Adam, but I put the Origins movie He-Man head on there, and I did a review of the Origins He-Man head, or actually it's the first ones, I'm sorry, the first ones movie He-Man of Masters of the Universe, the movie, and I popped his head off, put it on this Masterverse Adam body, Netflix body, and that's also the 2000X Origins Adams cloak that I have on here. So if you think he looks a little different, that's why. So this is kind of a kit bash. Now that sword is the movie He-Man first one's sword, and it's really good size. It's not real, you know, stumpy and short like we get most of the time with Origins. But you can check out my review on that first one's movie kids toy He-Man. All right, now here is our Scareglow next to the Warrior with Ball and Chains from Savage Crucible. Harbinger Studios, Savage Crucible, the Warrior with Ball and Chain, and they have very similar articulation. And this is supposed to be a highly premium figure. The plastic, the articulation, the joints, the height, everything is about the same. That's one of the reasons I didn't mind paying what I did for this guy on eBay this time. I wouldn't want to do that all the time for Chronicles. I hope they're going to be very well, available, plentifully available. But I will say that the premium articulation and feel and build and quality, I mean, you're talking about neck articulation, you're talking about diaphragm articulation, the ball joint at the wrist articulation, the ball joint in the waist, the ball joint, in the feet. You're talking about butterfly joint. You've got, all of those things going on here for both of these characters, and the quality of the feel. So yeah, I just wanted to put that alongside of it so you could see, if you really wanted a Scareglow type figure type enemy to go along with some of your barbarians, you could do it easily here. And here's the Chronicles Scareglow next to our Revolution Masterverse He-Man with a Hordak MX head sculpt. And this was technically the one that came where you could have him in the regular armor or the battle armor, but this is my favorite He-Man, and I love this Hordak MX head sculpt. This is his Mundo. If you want to get one from Hordak MX, this is Mundo, and I've got a review on those heads. You can check that out. But you can tell that this He-Man is taller than this Scareglow, but they definitely still fit into the scale. It's not so much taller that you couldn't do it. But let me do the drop down method on Scareglow and see if it evens it out. And He-Man's still a tad bit taller from top of the crown of the head to the crown of the head, but the drop down method does help. You can see that they are almost the same height. He-Man's just a little taller here. Cool. Alright, now here is something else I want to show you. Here is a more vintage collection Skeletor that came with that San Diego Comic-Con 2-pack of He-Man and Skeletor with the metal weapons and the posable jaw on Skeletor here. And you can see that they look good together here. And then there's the Terraclaws Skeletor, and I don't have his Terraclaws engaged here, but he's so cool looking. I think they did an excellent job, and that Terraclaws Skeletor beat out Classics in my opinion. You can see my review on that. But here's the thing I want to show you. That's about as close as you can get the legs of Skeletors here. You can't close them anymore. I don't know, something about the way they did the inside of those, they won't go together. But see how much closer these legs are together. The system up in here is definitely that premium T ball joint type system compared to the Masterverse. So everything about this has been re-engineered. And you can see that because, and I could even put these legs closer until they hit calves here. But you see how much closer these legs are. That's easy to do. And you can't really do that here on these Skeletors. Alright. And here is our new Chronicles Scareglow next to our Cobra Khan New Eternia Masterverse Scareglow. And then here is our new Etheria Masterverse Leech. And Leech was on the short side, but you can see that he may even be a little bit shorter, and I've got him completely standing up, and his feet will actually go together on this one. But those are different kinds of feet too. But yeah, he may be a little bit shorter than the Scareglow here. But yeah, you could partner Scareglow and Cobra Khan together. That kind of a purplish translucent acid coming out of his cobra fang there, looking cool. And here's our Scareglow next to a NECA mummy action figure, from the mummy line anyway, and then a Storm Collectibles skeleton, and he's holding a chain with some body parts attached to it. Skeleton may be just a tad taller than our Scareglow, and of course NECA's definitely taller. But you can see how they compare here. And here's our Scareglow next to our new Etheria Hordak. And you can see he's definitely taller than Scareglow, but when you see him with the flames here, it's not that noticeable. The body size and everything seems to be in scale. Do see that the knees are a little bit lower than the Masterverse. And then here is our new Eternia Fisto, but I have a custom fist that I got off eBay that I really love. I was able to remove that fist and plug it right on in with some super glue and some air hardening Play-Doh. No, it's not Play-Doh. I'm sorry. It's I forget the name of the company. But anyway, it's Crayola hardening putty that I put down in there along with a little bit of super glue, and it is permanent on that Fisto, and I just really like the way that fist looks better than the one he came with. Me personally, that's just me personally. It's bigger, like the one that Classics Fisto had. That's what it's patterned after. And here's our Scareglow next to one of the Savage Crucible lizard guys, and he could definitely be one of Scareglow's henchmen if you have some of these lizard figures. And I just think they're really cool. They come with some really neat translucent weapons, especially if you get some of the blind bag things from Savage Crucible. They always have a little blind bag weapon on the inside, and they're usually a translucent weapon similar to this. This was one of the ones that came in the blind bag. And then here is a Frazetta girl's body with a custom head. This is our Norseman, and like I said, this is not the Norseman head. This is a custom head I got off eBay, which I'll put the link, or the name rather, of the guy that does this and the Fisto fist in description below. But this is one of my favorite figures, this Norseman. And I like the one that he came with too, the head, but I just thought with the brown beard, the brown hair, it just matched really good here, because the head that comes with the Norseman is like a red head, and you can check out my review on him. But he's one of my all-time favorite figures, and I like this. And see, all of these are right in scale with this Chronicles Scareglow. And here is our Scareglow next to the Gold Halder by X-Ray Studios. And then here is a McFarlane Batman. This is like the Barbarian Batman, which Savage Batman, whatever you want to call him. He's pretty cool, and I like him. But you can see how they look next to this new Scareglow. And here is our Scareglow next to a Marvel Legends Kazar. So you can see just how much shorter the Marvel Legends, standard Marvel Legends figures are next to. There are some bigger figures that kind of measure up with Scareglow, but then here is our Frazetta Girls Conan, and this Conan is my favorite. Of course, I haven't got a hold of that Black Stone version of Conan yet, but so far this is my favorite Conan from Frazetta Girls Collectibles, and these are looking awesome together. Thank you so much for joining us for another Super Dave review, and this has been fun taking a look at our very first Chronicles action figure by Mattel. And it is awesome to have a new line of Masters of the Universe figures. Not only are we excited about the movie coming out right around the corner in July, but we're also excited about the new action figures we're getting, both movie, obviously, and some new figures like this one. So we're excited about that. And just think, he's looking amazing here. Just the ability to pose him is just looking great. It's just looking superior to anything we've gotten before, from Classics all the way through to Masterverse, and definitely better than Origins. So I'm excited about Chronicles. Let's get behind this line. Let's make it go deep. I would love to have some more figures. I think it's awesome. I love Masterverse figures. I love my Classics figures, and now I'm excited about these Chronicle figures. Hope to see you soon. Be blessed. Like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to comment if you have something to say, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Here's some photos in the photo gallery. And here's a fun fact that you might find interesting. If you have any of the Storm collectible skeletons, that head, you know, it's articulated, fits the peg. If you heat it up a little bit with a hairdryer, you can pop off the Scareglow head and pop on one of those. They're about the same size and it fits, and then you have an articulated jaw. So that is handy and that is cool. And I'm assuming you could do the same, I haven't tried it yet, with one of the wider ones here. And we could even add some, you know, glow-in-the-dark paint and either yellow or green, and even put the little tads, little dots in the eyeballs, and make him one that has the articulated jaw. So there's you some ideas. But that one is the same bone color for the most part as what is molded on bone pieces on his arms and chest and legs are. So that's pretty cool, I think. Just wanted to share that right quick.